Are we? Let's talk about this game. Right. ah, you know what, right? And this is just a disclaimer for anyone who's kind of new here. What I do on here, in terms of my perspective, is try and do it from a perspective of where I work. What I do in football, which is analysis or kind of video analysis, that type of stuff. So I'm not going to destroy or bash a single player for a moment in a game when in every single decision there is other people who can impact that. That makes sense. So if you're here for a bashing, I'll talk about everything and I'll say my opinion on every single moment that happened that I thought was controversial. I will. But I'm not here to completely bash and destroy a person based on a decision that was made which wasn't changed by other people in the team. The captains, for example. And you guys know what I'm talking about. And let me just talk about the actual performance of the team. So what are our standards here, right? As a fan base. Okay, what are our standards? What do we want from the side? What do we want from the team when we watch them? Heat, aggression, confidence, good football. Good football. Playing like a team who wants to finish top 2 and go straight up, right? That's what we keep saying every week. That's what we want. Players have said in interviews, we want to go up. That's our aim. So based on the entire game you saw yesterday against a team that is massively struggling at the lower end of the league, was that performance anywhere near the performance of a team who is serious and has aspirations to go straight back up? Not for me. And the problem, in my opinion, rose from, again, first half, not being at the races, relying too much in the second half that eventually it'll come good, and then expecting from that we take our chances. Instead of actually starting games like that, starting games aggressive, starting games dominant. We don't do that. We've not done that recently. We seem to wait and rely on, I guess, our fitness in the last 30 minutes or something to click. There's not a consistent performance from the start of the game, and we're allowing teams to gain confidence every single week. And look, we'll have comebacks against Norwich, and that's brilliant. Because we're good. We're a good side when we want to be. But we can't rely on comebacks every week. We can't rely on teams to not take their chances and then take some later on. We have to put our foot on their necks and be the side pushing that. And we're not doing that. We did not do that last night. The penalty. Look, I'll talk about it. So there's many problems for me. The facts are we missed it. Okay? But do you want to know the situation is, right? And let me just before I talk about Patrick in terms of why he probably shouldn't have took the penalty, right? I'll talk about a striker. You know, I see them every day, every time I'm at training. Everything. Strikers are not going to pass. Strikers are not going to give up penalties. That's what they do. Whether they've not scored in 10 months or they've scored 10 in 10. A striker is a striker. They are selfish players. That's why they are where they are. That's why they are where they are. Especially a striker that, in their mind, is a goal-scoring striker, right? That's what they do. That's what they are. Patrick Bamford became a professional footballer because of that reason, right? They are selfish. Of course he's going to take the ball. Of course he's a striker. Impossible that they don't. That's what they do. The issue I have is the lack of... Put it this way, some people talking about Baron Cross said apparently Somerville wanted to take it. Right. Where's that discussion on the pitch? Did it happen? Did it? Where's the leadership? Who's the captain? That's Pascal, right? Well, was there a discussion between him and Bamford? And what did Bamford say? No, I'm having it. And then Pascal just went, okay. What's the situation there? Oh, he didn't want us to cause an argument. You want to win? And people saying, you look at the reaction of the players, they didn't have belief in Bamford. Why are you letting him take it then? As a team, as 10 other individuals on that pitch. Why is no one stepping in? We're so quick to blame one person, but the decision and the delegation from the leadership on the pitch should not allow that to happen if they didn't have faith in the guy taking the kick, which apparently the reaction of the players shows. Why on earth is none of them players in that picture, who I believe was Strauch, Ampadu and Rodon, said something about that or done something about it? Because they haven't. What, is Patrick Bamford like, is he in the mafia? Is everyone scared to speak to him because he's a little older? I'm seeing seniority stuff. Rubbish. Who's the captain? What? That's it then. Oh, we can't take it off him, he's 30 odd. Rubbish. Take it off him. If he complains, deal with it. Who cares? If you've got a young lad who's confident who wants to take the free kick, the striker's not going to give it him. That's the facts of any striker in the world. Check it out. It doesn't happen. And if a striker's not wanting to take a thing, why not? Because that's what got them to where they are. Being a striker, being greedy, being selfish. That's what they do. Not one person on that pitch did enough to step up, speak to Patrick. Why not? You can talk about seniority, right? Well, where's the captain then? He shouldn't be the captain. These are the decisions the captain has to make. These are decisions. And it's not the manager. Trust me. The manager is not the person who decides penalties. He can do nothing. It's the player's responsibility. It's like who shoots. It's not on the manager who has a shot. That's on the players. That's their responsibility. It's on the pitch. That's down to them to delegate and to lead in difficult moments. You can't rely on other people. And that's what we do a lot, I think, as a fan base. We deflect so much. Look, all right. Bamford shot took the penalty. Right. Is that why we lost? In theory, that is why we lost. Because that we'd have been 1-0 up and we'd probably gone on to win the game. Right, okay. But can we play like that every week? Can we? And the penalty is one thing. What about the other chances that we scuffed from close? The strikers not kicking the ball properly. The things in the box we had. The big chances. The huge chances. 2 or 3 big chances we had. What about them? Are they getting away with it? The performances of our best players. Ampadu, again, was off it for me. What about him? When's he going to step up again? Because we need that. Looking at these individual players, well, the first half, for me, Jadon Anthony wasn't at the level he should be. We're talking about a guy who played in the Premier League, 30 times last year? Willian Onto, a guy who played in the Premier League last year and teared people up at times. Tried. How many times did he beat his man 1v1? Joe Perreault, we bought 15 million. Missing. For me, Elliot Greve, again, try some decent bits, but didn't step up what we needed. Weren't ready yet. Sam Byram, again, didn't look the player he is. What about all these? And that's the problem. We can look at individual moments that win games, but are we that team that is going to rely every single week? Is that okay to rely on that? We don't want to rely on that. I don't want to rely on a late penalty to win a game against Stoke. I want to be 2-0, 3-0 up at that point. I want to batter them, and we didn't. They were the better side, especially for the first half. The second half, we came into it. But again, doesn't matter about that. I've had enough of doing that. They should have got 1 or 2 in the first. They had chances. There's a lot of problems with that. A lot of problems. And it's just so easy to just put pictures of Bamford missing chances from last year. I'm over that. I don't care. That's where the agenda side comes into it. Why on earth, then, given all that, are the 10 other players on that pitch letting him take it? And if anyone talks, well, because he's seen you and he thinks he's this, he thinks he's that, take the goddamn ball off him then. Who tried that? Who had a serious discussion with him? No one. Why not? Are they scared because he's older? Well, that's the problem then, isn't it? How's that happening? What, he's older than you, so you're scared of telling him something? That's a bigger issue, mate. Trust me. If that's the case, that's a big issue. And whoever's the leader's on that pitch, got serious questions to ask. Where's the delegation there? Where's the delegation? That's what I mean. Of course, he couldn't have took the penalty. Everyone knows that. He's not a confident player. He's not a player that is sharp. Not a player who's scored a lot of goals recently. But from his perspective, and any striker's perspective, you have to, if you're not confident in them taking it, because they're going to, where the hell are the leaders on that pitch taking that ball off him? Or even having a discussion? Or if the discussion doesn't go your way, no, give me that ball. I'm taking over. I'm the captain. We're a pair. Ridiculous. Ridiculous situation. Game was a game. We lost. We were not good enough. But people can talk about one moment, that's fine. But I'm annoyed by the way we played again. So 45 minutes before Patrick Bamford's name was even mentioned, we were not good enough. And again, people saying about Farker, right, and about how apparently now he keeps getting it wrong. Apparently this agenda's coming now where we lose a game and suddenly he gets it wrong every week. Absolute rubbish. We just won 3 in a row. We're in great form before yesterday. Great form. Great championship form. Playing really well at times. People saying, well, why has he dropped Somerville after all that? Look, this is something where there's certain things you question about tactics. Of course there is. But why a manager drop their best player that scored 2? Yeah, people act like Barker went, oh, we might drop Somerville. You know, a bit different tactics. No. Barker will have wanted to play the player that's going to win in promotion. But if his body's showing signs of fatigue or injury, don't play him. Because then, if he is in the red zone and is at high risk of injury, which I keep saying about, there's technology that tells you this. This is not the manager's choice. Look at him when he looks a bit tired. Do we not play him next game? No, he's been told, I'd advise not playing him, because otherwise he's at high risk of re-tearing an injury, which he got at the start of the season, and he'd be out for another 8 weeks. And then everyone would be annoyed when they found out he was playing with painkillers with a little bit of an injury, and he's out for 8 weeks, and everyone would be more annoyed. Why is he playing him with an injury? So that I'm not buying. That's not me. Look, the only thing I'm thinking about with Farker is I want to know this. What's he asking the players at the start? Are they at the start of the first half of the games? What we're seeing a lot of the time is, especially earlier on, why are we so deep at times? And in terms of when we do win it back, I want to know what the instructions are. I'm a little confused at times. Is that the players not doing what they're meant to, or is that the manager telling them to do that? I don't know. I'm not sure. And it's a small sample size, isn't it? So I don't know. But the stats are not good enough. We didn't look like a team again in the first half that is serious about going top 2. We really didn't. We didn't. And this is where the positive side of me comes in now. I'm still confident that is just right. Too many kind of games in a week. A lot of potential injuries. Players had to be dropped. Players had to be rested. And I'm hoping now from that there's another big reaction, because the players have to realise it's alright losing to Southampton, where you could argue, look, we were not on it, but they're also a very good team. Respectful to Stoke, they're not a team at that level, right? And we were nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near good enough to win that. Nowhere near. They all have to have a chat with each other. They have to move on from this. They have to talk about it, and then move on, park it, go to Ellen Road against Huddersfield, Yorkshire rivals, at the weekend, and put on a display that's going to get the fans back on side. Put on an aggressive display, because they're going to be up for it. Don't let them get into the game like we did with Stoke, like we did with Norwich. Don't let them do it. It's not difficult. I couldn't even care in the first 25 minutes if the football isn't great. As long as we are winning our battles, being aggressive, and not allowing them to get into the game, fine. Then after that, it settles. Then we start to play our football. That's all I need to see, at least. It's just aggression, in terms of good aggression. No, not just silly fouls, but getting in the faces, not letting them turn with the ball. No spaces, covering, reaction, recovery, all that. Give me that. Give me something that's going to make me think, right, we're all right here, we're competing. Didn't compete with Stoke in that first half at all. That's not on. Yeah, like I said, that's all I'm going to say. Stuff was wrong. Players didn't do what other players not getting away with it. Blame one, that's fine. But what about the 11 people, the 10 other people that were playing on the pitch at the same time? What on earth did they do? Because they were by far good enough to do something in that game, and they didn't. And every time they got the ball, they seemed to lose it. How many times did they lose the ball in promising areas? Endless. Step up, lads. Come on. Yeah, that's all I've got. Look, I expect to go to Huddersfield, team struggling, and batter them. I expect that. Will we get it? Are we worth that? Do we believe that? We should, because we've got the players to do it. Don't do that again, Leeds. Not like that. Not like that. Yeah. Appreciate the support. Anyone, literally, I'm saying now, anyone that's thinking Bamford in the comments, fine, I'm just going to ignore it. Because I know the situation. I've seen it. I don't need reminding 100 times about it. It is what it is. I'm telling you, being part of that. Why on earth are they letting that happen? If that's the case. Why are they letting that happen? Anyone on that pitch then? Why? Not good enough. They shouldn't be doing it. When was that? But yeah. Appreciate support. See you Friday.